fellas. Mike Wilson, Duquesne University for Figure It Out Baseball. We're going to talk about breaking ball grips, slider, cutter, curveball. Grips for the breaking balls. This grip right here on my breaking ball. I have seen a few pitchers that spin the breaking ball with this finger, like two. Most guys are going to spin the breaking ball with that finger. That's why you see the finger up in the air. That's why you see the knuckle curve, because you really don't need your index finger, okay? If you're going to put the index finger down, put it real close to the long finger. The long finger's on this side of the seam, so we can pull down on that seam. I want to pull against that seam to get more spin, higher the spin rate, okay? This is considered a two-seam curveball. You can see the narrow part of the seams right there. My fingers are on top of it. So if I want to throw a four-seam curveball, I'm just going to come over here. Okay, now I'm going to get a four-seam curveball. Once again, figure out which one works best for you. You can try the knuckle curve. You can try the spike curve, but good hitters see that finger sticking up. You might telegraph your curveball. Underneath, I'm getting my thumb underneath this seam. So when I pull down and pop up, I'm pushing my thumb against that seam to increase the spin rate. So here's another common mistake of little leaguers: grip and wrist position. So here's my curveball, wrist position, and now look at how my wrist works. Karate chop. It's a karate chop, okay? It's not a doorknob. That'll kill your elbow. You get up here and you twist on it, okay? So I think the best way to teach a curveball is color one half of the ball based on whether you're throwing a two-seamer or a four-seamer. Color one half black or red, whatever. And then when the kid throws it, he wants to see a 12-6 spin or kind of like a 1-7 spin if you're a righty, just the opposite for the lefty. Okay, now he can see how the ball's rotating. If you're trying to throw a curve ball and you got it rotating 3 to 9, then you got up here and you wristed it, or you got way far away from your body and cut across it. Okay, so it's a karate chop type of release on your breaking balls, all of them. What makes the ball break more or less? It's wrist position, and it's also grip, but it's more the wrist position that you have when you release the ball. If this pretty much is the position of where my hand is when I release the ball, okay? It's kind of just a little bit in front of my head. So this is the classical release point right here, arm straight, okay? So there's your fastball wrist position, okay? Now if I want to throw a cutter, all I'm going to do is turn my wrist just a little bit, okay? And I'm just going right down through that ball. If I want it to break more, I'm going to turn my wrist a little bit more. And then I'm going right down through that ball. If I want it to break more, I'm going to turn my wrist even more. Okay? And then I'm just going right down through that ball. I'm going to feel that ball just rolling off my fingertips. Okay? If I want a really slow, big dropping curveball, I'm not only going to turn my wrist here, but I'm going to tilt it in a little bit. Okay? So now I'm really going to come over the top on that ball, but I always want to feel like I'm reaching out to the same release point as fastball, okay? I'm not snapping it as a lot of people get taught, because when you snap any breaking ball, it pops up out of your hand, and the good hitters see the ball pop up out of your hand, and they go, oh boy, curveball, hope it's in the strike zone, and it gets crushed. So when you have the same arm speed, the same arm slot, you release out, you go out to the same release point, and then when the ball comes out of your hand, it's coming out on the same trajectory as the fastball. Is it going to have as much break? No, but you're not telegraphing the break. It will get halfway there before it starts moving. Hitters have to make their decision when the ball's roughly halfway there, okay, where the ball's going to be and whether they're going to swing or not. So I want to disguise it for as much as I can by reaching out to the same release point and then just letting my wrist break based on the position that I have my wrist in. Fastball release, cutter release, slider release, Curveball, release, bigger curveball. The most common mistake for kids throwing breaking balls is they don't stay on the same path that they throw the fastball on. Fastball path. And then the mistake they make is they go right to left, thinking that if they're curving their arm, they're going to curve the ball. You're going to hurt your arm doing that. It's the same thing. So rather than, get out here when you're going to throw the curveball, which is going to really hurt your arm, and chances are you're going to throw what they call a cement mixer up there, a hanger, okay? I've always had a lot more success teaching breaking balls by getting the kids in here. Not even here where it's 90 degrees, but get them in here more. And now they can really get on top of that breaking ball. They're going to get much better movement all by landing in here and going forward. If you land and you're out here, I'd never recruit you because you're just going to spin balls up the home plate. When you're throwing your curveball, what are you targeting on? Well, you got to know which breaking ball you're throwing and how much it's going to move. If I'm going to throw a slider for the outside part of the plate, chances are I'm going to have my catcher set up right in the middle. I'm going to throw it for the glove, and then of course he's going to move out to catch it. If I'm throwing a bigger breaking ball and I want it to be a strike, I've got to aim on something on the catcher other than the glove to get it into the glove. If I'm going to try to get the guy to chase a curveball, then I'm going to have the catcher set up in the middle. I'm going to throw it for the glove, and of course it's going to go down and away to a righty since I'm a righty, okay? Or it's just going to go down. So you have to figure out what you're targeting on to reach out to. You got to reach out to a target. When you're throwing fastball, chances are you're always reaching out for the glove. Curveball, what are you reaching out to get the ball to end up where you want it? Whether you want to strike or whether you want a pitch that's out of the zone that they'll chase. Mike Wilson, Duquesne University for Figured Out Baseball. We just talked about breaking balls, sliders, cutters, and curveballs. My next baseball video will be on qualities of a good baseball coach, things that you need to have.